Welcome back, everyone. I hope you all had a chance to stretch your legs, get some fresh air possibly, grab a drink and refreshments as we go into this, which is our last session of the first day of the FEA Summit. And so this is the session where we'll be looking back over the past year, celebrating the achievements of our 7 Scaling Award winners and sharing some of their key lessons learned and approaches to scale. Now, as you heard from Sam and Gina this morning, scaling impact is a key area of activity for us, as we believe that members of the public, charities and social enterprise, so you, our members, have a key role to play in identifying entrenched issues in education, developing solutions and, importantly, getting those solutions working at scale. Our role in this is to give funding and tailored support to new and existing education initiatives. The Scaling Award is one of 3 awards that we run to scale impact through a systemic and needs-based view. Now, tomorrow, you'll get the opportunity to hear from our 2021 award winners across innovation and entrepreneurship. But today, we'll be focusing on the Scaling Award. The Scaling Award is a 2-year programme of bespoke support to help organisations scale to areas of greatest need. We are currently midway through the programme of support for our 7 2020 award winners. And so this session today is an opportunity to share some information about the award and, most importantly, to celebrate the incredible progress that our award winners have collectively made during their first year of support. It's been a difficult year with lots of challenges, but also incredible opportunities to scale and think outside of the box about how we do this effectively and impactfully. And so we'll be hearing from the award winners themselves about their most significant areas of progress and the key lessons they've learned along the way. We'll also be breaking out into 3 groups to hear more about how the award winners have utilised 3 key enablers of scale: utilising data to drive decisions, policy and system change, and beyond direct delivery, to enable them to scale strategically to reach the pupils and the students who face the greatest need. Before we dive in, I would like to take a moment to thank our business member, Credit Suisse, whose generous support makes the Scaling Award possible. They've been an active partner throughout the first cycle of the Scaling Award, from supporting the selection process and as final judges and finance experts, to sourcing expert volunteers to support our award winners with challenges such as finance, HR, and leadership. We're also grateful for their active participation in our collective action and policy and influencing work. We're really delighted to be working with Credit Suisse on this programme and to have Caroline with us for the session today. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Caroline, who's going to tell us a little bit more about the work of the Credit Suisse Foundation and their partnership with the Fair Education Alliance.
Hi everyone, I hope you can hear me properly. Please do shout out. I seem to have some problem on a regular basis, but thank you so much. I'm absolutely delighted to be here today. I feel there's an imposter syndrome when you say thank you, because all the hard work is really done by the FEA. But it's a brilliant program, and we're very, very happy to be associated to it. So I'm Caroline Courtois. I'm the head of corporate citizenship EMEA at Credit Suisse. We are the department that looks at all our charitable work, which means obviously employees engagement with fundraising and volunteering, but also the financial support to a number of organizations. And we do that through the Credit Suisse EMEA Foundation. That award multi-year grants to a number of charities in Europe, Middle East and Africa. So we have a mission. We believe in an inclusive society, and we think as a business, particularly in the financial sector, we can do that through 3 pillars: financial education, financial inclusion, and future skills. And I know future skills is a very trendy term, but really what it means is that we're providing support to organizations that deliver a program to help young people from disadvantaged backgrounds to access education and employment. And I think I heard some sessions this morning, we very much align in terms of looking at 3 levels of engagement: supporting the young people directly, supporting the sector, including the teachers, but also the schools, the network, advocacy, and then the enabling and the environment. So what is the situation at home, but also at some point we're supporting, for example, social workers, admitting that the problem of education is goes beyond sometimes the education itself. We partnered with the FEA. We just renewed our partnership. We're absolutely delighted. For us, this is a strategic partnership. I feel very often again that we are taking a lot out of this partnership, because for us it's a brilliant opportunity to learn. Everything that the FEA is doing feeds back and helps us as a donor to understand where our money is worth and where we should be invested, what are the problems. So it's really critical and beneficial for us. We've been delighted as well, because we've been able to really model a partnership, which is what we want to do. We don't want to be a donor, we want to be a partner, and that means going way beyond the money, being able to leverage everything else we have, the expertise from our employees, but other opportunities to support the partnership. And I mentioned those 3 pillars, but really we always say capacity building is at the heart of what we do. Sounds like a slogan, but it is very true. We think that we can build the capacity of the young people. And we do a number of volunteering with our grant partners and others, for example, mock interviews and mentoring, coaching of young people. We support the building capacity of our own employees, because they also learn and adapt as they volunteer and help new organizations. And then we want to build the capacity of our partners as well. Not that we have a condescending view that we know it all, but we have certainly a level of expertise. So if an organization is missing it, we're very happy to look at what we have and can we on a pro bono basis support the organization. The partnership with the FEA has been amazing. As Siwan mentioned, we've been able to plug a number of really senior leaders and their expertise and their networks. So it's been brilliant. But obviously for us, the Scaling Award is amazing because it resonates with what we want to do, identifying really potentially already or potentially impactful solution, and how can we help them move to the next level. So again, I don't want to take away from the FEA, because they're the one doing all the hard work. We're just behind and reading reports and occasionally stepping in. But we think it's amazing, and really hope that in the future we can continue really building and create even more connection with the award winners themselves. I'll stop there because you didn't come to listen to me, but thank you very much, Siwan, and thank you everyone for attending the session, and very much look forward to hear from the winners.
Thank you, Caroline, for that, and definitely that kind of support and knowledge going both ways, in terms of very glad to give that platform for you to learn and to listen to the sector, but also really value that support that you provide for us and for the award winners as well. So the Scaling Award exists to support impactful initiatives to reach the young people that can be most benefit from their initiatives. And the 2-year programme of support includes one-to-one support, brokered support drawing on the expertise within the Alliance and our wider network, really acknowledging that there is a lot of knowledge, lot of skills and lot of expertise about how to do this and what's been tried and tested and what has succeeded in the past. And also peer learning through bespoke group workshops and learning opportunities, as well as an annual leadership retreat to develop key leadership skills alongside peers. And that community of peers and organisation leaders being a really valuable part of this award. Since launching the call for applications for the programme in January 2020, we undertook a rigorous selection process to select our 7 award winners for 2020 to 22 cohorts, and delivered the first year of bespoke support for these organisations. Now, you'll hear about what the award winners do directly from them in a moment, but we're delighted to have a portfolio that varies significantly in type of intervention, stages of maturity, and also in scale. 4 are previous Innovation Award winners, demonstrating the need for prolonged support from incubation through to scale. And we're delighted with the resilience, the hard work and the dedication that our award winners have shown over the past year, all so that they can better support their users, and are incredibly proud of the progress that this has led to, and with how the Scaling Award has been able to contribute to this along the way. Now, over the past academic year, all 7 of the Scaling Award winners have scaled to work with more schools and pupils, grown their teams and increased their revenue. Collectively, the award winners have increased their reach by 69% to reach nearly 500,000 children and young people across England. That's nearly 5% of the children that are in the education system. This is an incredible achievement, especially considering the challenges that the past 18 months has thrown at the sector and each organisation. To enable the scale, they've grown their teams by 82% and their volunteer pools by 90% and increased their revenue by 75%. These increases are the result of increased demand and need for their work and diversification of income streams through new programmes and national initiatives such as the National Tuition Programme. Now, we asked the award winners about their most significant areas of progress, and beyond their increased reach and scale, they aligned on two things across the board. Firstly, developing the capacity of their staff and growing their teams. All 7 award winners have grown their teams this year and have invested quite heavily in developing the capacity internally, both in terms of skills, but also processes and kind of the cohort, the culture within their organisations to enable that scaling potential. Secondly, all of our winners have diversified over the last year in some way. Some introducing new products such as Borrow Me's Keep Me and Daily Play, others such as the tuition organisation shifting to online and home-based delivery methods, and 5 organisations really noted that diversification in delivery methods and products as key progress areas this year. The Scaling Award contributed to this progress by providing bespoke support, which is tailored according to a needs assessment to help organisations deepen their impact and scale. It's been an absolute honour to work with the 7 organisations over the last year and to see and support their work from up close. During the first year of support, we provided 79 instances of support, totalling over 330 hours of bespoke support for the 7 award winners, which is incredible. Now, this award is a truly networked approach to scale, and 1/3 of that support is delivered was provided by our members and others across the ecosystem. Some examples of this include Sir David Carter from Ambition Institute, who ran a series of workshops about working with multi-academy trusts to really hone the organisation's approaches to how to work and partner with multi-academy trusts effectively. Robert Craig, COO at Skills Builder Partnership, who's provided one-to-one support on ops for multiple award winners. Robert Grinshaw, who was previously CEO of TES Global, who's delivered a workshop on marketing and is also mentoring some of our senior leaders from across the organisations. And Zoe Copley from Credit Suisse, who's volunteered to provide HR support and executive coaching for award winners. We're delighted to see that all the award winners reported that support from the award contributed to their most significant areas of progress over the last years. And this really demonstrates the quality and the impact of the support provided. So a huge thank you to all the members and volunteers who have given their time to support the Scaling Award winners this year. Now, without further ado, I would like to ask the representatives of the 7 Scaling Award winners to join me on the main screen. You will be shortly be pinned by one of the FEA team, and we'll do a quick round of introductions before we go into a mini panel before we break out into the rooms. So I can see you popping up on the screen now, and hopefully we'll have all 7 here shortly. So we're going to have a little bit of a shift around in the order, and we're going to come to our family interventions first. Now, earlier I said that we have a real range of interventions within our portfolio of 7 award winners, but we do have a couple of key themes. One of those being organisations that really tailor their support around the family, and another being attainment-focused organisations. And then the overarching piece around impact and quality. So if I come to the organisations first in terms of family support, so Evie, if I come to you first to give us a quick introduction to Borrow Me and the work that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Suan. That was really humbling to watch the last few minutes. Actually, it's a great sum up of our progress. But yeah, without further ado, I'm Evie. I'm CEO and founder of Borrow Me. In a nutshell, Borrow Me, we're a network of non-profit play libraries, and we exist for 2 fundamental reasons. The first being that we know that getting early foundations right is critical, especially for children that are growing up within the most challenging circumstances. And the second thing is that we know that what happens at home between the ages of 0 and 5 has the greatest impact upon long-term outcomes all the way to the age of 18. At Borrow Me, our play libraries work in partnership with educational and community-based settings across the UK to empower parents to support and nurture their child's early learning and development through powerful and purposeful play together at home.
Thank you so much, Evie. Lucy, I'll come to you next from Learning with Parents.
Thanks, Joanne. So my name's Lucy, so I'm Programme Director at Learning with Parents. At Learning with Parents, we work to support effective parental engagement, particularly focused on disadvantaged communities. We know that all parents want the best for their children, but also that for some families, regularly engaging in their children's learning is more challenging than it may be for others. And so we work to support those families in particular. So we do this through our programme and online platform for partner schools, but also through collaborating with others across the sector to develop effective parental engagement practice as well.
Thank you so much, Lucy. Kat, can I come from you for School Home Support?
Hi, everybody. My name is Kat, and I'm the Head of Impact and Digital Delivery at School Home Support, and we work holistically, looking beyond the classroom to tackle whole family issues such as parenting, poverty, mental health issues, and using those bespoke support strategies so that children can achieve their potential. And it's basically interactions that take place directly between us and the parent and the child that often happens behind closed doors, that allow children to come into school. And that's our mission, is for children to be in school ready to learn whatever it takes. It's not fixed by time, it's not fixed by duration, it's not fixed by method. We identify what the challenges are, and we work with partner organisations or directly ourselves to overcome those barriers to access in education. And we're just thrilled to be here, basically, as part of that sort of like whole initiative for the FEA. So
thank you, Kat. And that kind of sums up our family intervention. So next I'm going to take a leap into the overarching, and Owen, I'll come to you in terms of your work at ImpactEd.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Owen, I'm co-founder and managing director of ImpactEd, and we support schools and education organisations to help better understand and evaluate the impact of the different interventions, initiatives and programmes that they put in place. We do that both through hands-on partnerships and then also through our digital platform, which aims to make monitoring and evaluation easier and more straightforward. And I guess really the heart of our work is that there is an awful lot of time and money and energy that goes into various well-informed and well-intentioned kind of initiatives and change programmes in schools. And we want to make sure that as much as possible, those resources are being used in the best possible way and having the maximum impact. And so we try and make the processes to help interventions like those you see today be as effective and as impactful as possible.
Thanks so much, Sam. And last but not least, our attainment package. So Susanna, if I come to you first.
Thanks, Suan, and hi everyone, I'm Susanna, I'm the CEO at Action Tutoring. We support pupils from disadvantaged backgrounds who are at risk of underachieving in the core subjects of English and maths. We use high quality volunteer tutors from a really diverse range of backgrounds to work with our pupils, and our programmes are all delivered in partnerships with schools. As part of our offer to schools, we provide all the training for the tutors, and we provide a structured tutoring curriculum that tutors and pupils can work through. We have a wide geographic reach from Brighton to Bristol all the way up to Newcastle, and plenty of places in between. We were set up to make the benefits of tutoring more widely available to pupils that wouldn't otherwise afford it. And that's a mission that has been accelerated with the arrival of the National Tutoring Programme. As a result of that, we grew by 100% last year and on track to grow even further again this year. And all of that supported by the FEA and being part of this collective, as well as the National Tutoring Programme.
Thanks so much, Susanna. Jo, can I come to you from Tutor Trust?
You can, yeah, thanks, Suan. So we are, I'm Jo Meredith, I'm the Director of Alternative Provision at the Tutor Trust. We're a charity based in Manchester, Merseyside, Leeds and most recently Bradford. And our mission is to transform lives through tutoring by making it possible for the young people that wouldn't normally be able to have tuition to have it through us via our school partnerships. In addition to the tutoring that we offer, we began our project called The Right Angle in 2018, and that started as a Department for Education supported alternative provision innovation fund. On The Right Angle, we provide tutoring for the young people that we work with, but alongside that, we work with a sister charity called TLC, based in Manchester, and they provide counselling that works in tandem with the tuition. So therefore, we believe that addressing the whole child and looking at the emotional well-being of the child, in addition to the academic side of the work, that we can make a greater difference. And that is the Right Angle is the arm that we have been given the support from the FEA for scaling. Like everybody else here, the impact of the pandemic was a kind of mixed impact, really. So it provided us with challenges, but it also provided us with opportunities to grow and continue to develop that scale. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Jo. And we also have a 7th award winner who you might notice that we haven't got on our screen at the moment. Sarah is meant to be joining us shortly from Get Further, and hope she'll be online soon. But Get Further provides 16 to 19-year-olds and older students. Oh, here she is now, but I will give a short introduction to Get Further. And they pair students in further education with a qualified tutor to support them to gain those crucial GCSE skills that are a gateway to employment and to further education. So what we're going to do now is that we are going to have a short panel. We are focusing in on 2 areas, which is areas of progress and also in terms of lessons learned. Award winners, I'll ask you to keep your answers relatively short and snappy, and we please do encourage everyone to use the chat to document some questions for the award winners and to pick up these discussion points in the breakout rooms later. So Evie, I'm going to come to you first. It's been a really roller coaster of an 18 months for everyone. But I'm really keen to hear from you from the Boromir perspective about what progress you're proudest of achieving this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Short and snappy. I'll try my best. But I think what I'm most proud of as an organisation is how we have continued to increase our reach across beneficiaries despite our core programme, our play libraries, actually largely being able to not operate the previous academic year. And I think this has been partly due to being able to be agile as an organisation and respond to that changing need of our families, but also the importance of us kind of staying committed to our mission and purpose as an organisation to support parents with that early development at home. And I think the support from the Scaling Award has been so integral to this, like to help us forge ways that we can continue to scale up our impact and reach families in different ways when our play libraries weren't able to operate through schools, beyond kind of simply replicating our core model. And I think what's really exciting about this is looking at how this has then significantly impacted and altered our longer term strategy, thinking about actually what that diversification looks like, and how that's now part of our kind of picture of how we're looking to scale over the next 3 to 5 years as an organisation. So yeah, incredibly proud, and like you say, it's been a whirlwind kind of year, 18 months, but you know, a lot of opportunity and a lot of progress has been made despite that, and I think that's, you know, no small feat.
Thanks so much, Evie. And yes, some very definitely exciting progress areas made and for you across the year. Jo, I come from you from the Tutor Trust programme. We heard earlier about the scale that you've achieved across the organisation, but really keen to kind of know from the right angle and kind of that alternative provision lens, what have been some of the key progress areas for you this year?
Thank you. So it's been great to be part of the Scaling Award because it's provided us with lots of opportunities for networking and also lots of opportunities to kind of analyse what we're doing and why we're doing it. So one of the kind of the key things that really provided us with some impetus was working as part of the Bain Social Incubator and the workshop for that just made us think a little bit more about what we were offering and how we were offering it. And that kind of provided us with a platform to think differently. And one of the ways that we're thinking differently now is about how we We manage our partnerships and how we can grow those partnerships and also develop relationships with additional funders. As you will all be aware, the combination of tutoring and counselling can be quite an expensive intervention, and it's been great to be able to kind of go out there and provide evidence that what we are doing works and enable us to get additional funding for that will support our growth. But I think the biggest impact has not been necessarily the financial growth, but has been the growth of the rich relationships that we've made with other colleagues through the FEA. So that's provided us with a great springboard to move forward, and lots of exciting stuff that we know we're going to be able to develop in the future.
Great, thanks, Jo, and really excited to hear more about kind of those different partnerships and different approaches that you're trialing and working on in the breakout session in a second. Susanna, if I come to you, kind of from your perspective at Action Tutoring, having kind of scaled and over doubled your reach in terms of your pupils in the last year, what's been some of the biggest kind of progress areas for you?
I'm really proud of the way the team's been able to adapt through the pandemic, particularly to seize the opportunity to get our programme running online. Prior to the pandemic, everything we did was face-to-face, and last year the team managed to deliver to over 4,000 pupils through online tutoring, and that's now become a really established part of our model. But part of the route to get there has been lots of sharing with other FEA members, other organisations, about how we could make online tutoring as impactful and successful as possible, and that shared peer learning has been really invaluable to achieving that progress. I think the other thing I'm incredibly proud of is the way the tuition advocacy group has worked together to drive collective action. We'll be talking a bit more about that in one of the breakout sessions next, but I think the way that group has worked together to make the cause of tutoring and to demonstrate the benefits it can bring much more widely available has been incredibly exciting.
Thanks, Susanna, and it's been great to see yourself, the Tutor Trust, and Get Further kind of really helping to lead that along with other members in that working in that space as well. Lucy, if I come to you next, an EdTech platform operates quite differently in terms of your route to reach beneficiaries. What's been one of the biggest areas of progress for you this year?
Yeah, so for us at Learning with Parents, we've been running our core programs for, I guess, a few years now, and have scaled to be working with sort of about 20,000 families. And much of the last couple of years has been spent really developing our platform to make sure it meets the needs of users, covers early years to year 6, and has both maths and English offering. Over the last year, however, much of our work, in particular with reference to the Scaling Award, has centred around how we can maximise our impact beyond our core programmes. And so for that, partnerships has been key as well. So over the last year, we've been supported through the Scaling Award to explore, I guess, different types of partnerships, and been working closely with Siran about how we can look for those opportunities, understand actually what those potential partnerships will look like for our beneficiaries, and how they can impact the sector, say, on a much wider scale as well. And it's exciting going forwards because I guess it's sort of fundamentally changed how we look at potential partnerships and collaborations with other organisations and things. I guess the other development for us as well has been having a look at our model for school partnerships and how we support our schools throughout the year. So we've been doing a couple of things through the Scaling Award, one of which has been really looking at our internal processes and how we support schools throughout the year, and kind of process mapping what a school journey looks like. So we've got a much clearer picture of what that looks like, which will hopefully help us be able to, say, increase the scale in terms of the numbers of schools and things we're working with as well.
Thanks so much, Lucy, and definitely a lot of different approaches to skills being kind of trialled and also rolled out across the 7 Scaling Award winners, which we'll be able to hear about in more detail later. But it's been a great opportunity, I suppose, with the pandemic and with the changes to how we work, to really take a step back, if there was time allowed, and doing that very rapidly in a lot of cases, but to think a little bit outside of the box in terms of how we achieve that and how we achieve impact through different types of delivery. Okay, so kind of moving to kind of the more the things that you've picked up along the way and the key lessons that have been in terms of scaling. Owen, if I can come to you in terms of what you might have learned along this this last year, and can I say that you have scaled very rapidly, kind of doubling in size in terms of the pupils that are on your platform, and kind of really increasing the number of schools that you've worked with, and also kind of the impact partners. But what's been a key lesson for you along the way in terms of scaling?
Thanks, Siwan. Yeah, it's maybe not the sexiest answer, but I'm gonna say actually, like, thinking really deliberately about how you codify and share knowledge within the organization. So, you know, over the last year, we've more than doubled the size of our team. We've grown from sort of 250 to 600 odd schools. And I think a kind of key part of the lesson in that has been making sure that as you're onboarding new members of staff, trying to get new systems and processes up and running, you're really, really deliberate about how you share and codify knowledge. So like one of the big things we've done this year has been to, you know, pull together kind of key organizational knowledge into like an internal brain, we call it, which starts to document not just like formal policies, but also some of our more ongoing rhythms, our expectations, our kind of cultural practices. And I think that particularly when you're working in a remote or a blended environment, maintaining kind of culture as you scale can be quite hard. So I think for us, actually taking a kind of approach of like really being deliberate about writing things down, taking the time to align on, you know, what's core about how Impact Ed does things. That's been really instrumental, I guess, to maintaining quality and maintaining the kind of integrity of what we do as we've scaled as well.
Thanks so much, Owen. And something that kind of you'll be digging into a little bit more data in terms of data and organizational data in the session in a second as well. Kat, if I come to you for school home support, you have scaled to new regions, new geographic areas over the last year, and kind of really kind of increased the reach of your work to reach the most disadvantaged and most in need. What's kind of been a key lesson for you?
I think one of our light bulb moments for us was how the different models suit different areas, because you've mentioned we went into different regions. So, for example, in Bradford, the successful delivery model there was being based in a school and working directly in that school with that community area. Whereas in Blackpool, it was being based in the community with the links to the schools and doing that. And our light bulb moment was actually at the heart of all of that. Our model, which is successful, is the bit that we're doing that work with the family as a holistic service. The bit that layers that on the outside, whether we're based in the setting, whether we're based in the community, how we get the referrals and sort of how we do that, are just the layers on the outside of that. At the core of it, our successful delivery model is there. And what that light bulb moment's given us is that actually now we're looking at stop trying to choose those bits, because those bits are just mechanisms. Whereas now we're looking at, like, okay, our model is our model. So how do we now put those layers on the outside to reach those who are persistently absent? So it's kind of given us a bit of a light bulb moment.
Thanks so much, Kat. And you'll be digging into some of that data, how you really match that data to make decisions in the next session. Sarah, Get Further has gone from working with just over 100 pupils in when you kind of before you started on the award to be over 1,000 last academic year and kind of growing still. What's been a key lesson to you that you're hoping to apply to kind of reach your next ambitions in terms of reach of impact?
Yeah, I think for me it's trying as much as possible to take that step back and take a medium to long term view of that internal recruitment plan. It's so easy to say in hindsight when you're scaling super quickly, you know, you're sort of thinking, who do I need in the charity right now and for the next few months? But actually, you know, as soon as you've recruited that first batch of new team members, suddenly it feels like it's time to recruit the next batch of team members. So what we've been doing at Get Further now is, you know, really working on that 3-year strategy and then looking at what that means as best as we can in terms of planning for that longer term view, so that we can always feel like we're on the front foot and we're one step ahead.
Great, thanks, Sarah. And it's been very exciting working on that with you and with a lot of input from your brilliant trustees and the team. Great, well that brings us to our end of this kind of short panel, and what we will be doing now is breaking out into three groups to dig a little bit deeper into those areas that are key enablers or have been key enablers for scale for our Scaling Award winners over the past year. So to give you a little bit of a taste, we have thematic breakout room 1, which is really focused around using data to drive decisions. You've had a taste from Owen and Kat in terms of their answers earlier, but we're going to really look at how you use internal and national data sets to really drive decisions about what and where to scale in order to achieve the greatest impact. So that session, as I mentioned, led by Owen from Impact Ed and Kat from School Home Support. Next slide, please, Ellie. Thematic breakout room 2 will be focused on policy and system change, which is looking at what the role of policy and government incorporation is in scaling up impactful solutions. And this will be led by Susanna from Action Tutoring and Sarah from Get Further. So building on the session that we had earlier in terms of looking back and the collective action has gone a long way to make some of this possible over the last year in terms of tuition, looking at actually what have we learned so far and what are the opportunities and what do we need to do now to kind of embrace this approach for tuition and beyond that in terms of how we can use policy as a vehicle for change. And then breakout room 3 is really focused on beyond direct delivery. So looking at exploring alternative routes to scaling impact, including kind of new projects, kind of partnerships, and also kind of other ways, new programs, etc. So as we've heard, kind of Boromir having kind of set a foot in the water to do this to enable them to still reach pupils at home during school closures last year. Learning for Parents talking about their partnership approach as well as their kind of advocacy approach, and Tutor Trust talking about the new ways that they're working with others to provide a really holistic approach to not only attainment but whole child education. So those are the 3 breakout rooms. You will have time in there to hear from the organisations about what they've done so far and also what they've learned, but also critically some ideas about what might come next and how you can get involved. So you will get a pop-up on your screen very soon and you'll be able to choose the breakout room that you would like to go into. So once you see that come up, please do select and we'll see you back soon. Everyone, I know I was in the policy and system change room and the conversations were still going there. Please do note any comments from each of the rooms into the chat if you would like to pick up the conversations. Really encourage you to reach out directly to people, share contact information and pick those conversations up post-event. So I want to kind of just give just a short time to give a space or a flavour from each room. So I'm going to pick on kind of 3 award winners to share kind of a highlight from their room. So Owen, would you mind sharing kind of a reflection from your room in terms of data-driven decisions?
Yeah, one really helpful, just interesting discussion that we were having going actually towards the end is around not just using kind of data in the here and now, but more systematically collecting data on long-term outcomes, and particularly in a place-based way as well. And Kat was able to share some really interesting examples of the work that School Home Support are doing in relation to that. So I think, thinking really deliberately about building the relationships with your partners to collect data for longer-term periods that can help you understand your progress in a more sustained way. It's definitely kind of key theme that I think a lot of organisations are thinking more systematically about.
Thank you, Owen, and yeah, really great to see that as a pattern emerging from your room. I think the more we can use data in a really kind of strategic way to influence what and where we scale, the better outcomes we can achieve across the system. Susanna, if I can come to you for a reflection from your room.
Thank you. We didn't get hugely far into our discussion time, but we did touch on some interesting questions around the quality with tutoring and how you convince schools that the people that you're going to be bringing in will be valuable for them. But kick-started hopefully some thinking for people around what the long-term legacy of the National Tutoring Programme could be, how we embed it in the system and how we could use it to ultimately close the attainment gap.
Thanks, Susanna. And I think that is a beautiful kind of illustration of this kind of top-down and bottom-up approach that is needed when we're thinking about policy and system change. We need to think strategically about how we're influencing on that department level of government level, but also we need to really be thinking about how do we change the attitudes of people on the ground, so who we're going to be benefiting and kind of who are our clients and users essentially, and how do we kind of influence them to really kind of recognise the quality and the impact of what we deliver. Thanks, Susanna. Evie, if I can come to you for your room, for any reflections from your room on Beyond Direct Delivery.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I wish it was 5 times as long, but we were talking mostly around the obviously Beyond Direct Delivery and those creative approaches to scaling our impact as organisations. I think a couple of key takeaways for me that we discussed, although there were obviously many more, were around, you know, really changing how we think about how we scale our impact, changing how we think about what those kind of success metrics are, and kind of those, how we use that to frame our growth and our strategy as organizations. I think a couple of other interesting points as well were, you know, a lot of discussions around partnerships and collaboration and how that can help us to scale our impact in multiple ways, but also thinking about that lasting legacy of impact, which is a really interesting point from Skills Builder at the end of the session, which has resonated with me, which is about, yeah, thinking about that lasting legacy in terms of another approach to scaling our impact as well. So yeah, lots discussed, and thank you for the time, but wish we had more.
Thank you, Evie, and that really kind of resonates and take you back to kind of, there's a very great paper based on what your end game is as an organisation and how will you best kind of achieve that in terms of your end impact and the best route to achieve that. So I've already thanked our members and business members, Credit Suisse, who fund the award, but I just also wanted, just before we wrap up this session, give a big, huge thank you to the award winners who have really embraced the ethos of peer learning, support and collaboration, not only to kind of really feed into this award and making it a cohort award that supports each other, but also for this really strong role that they play in across our collective action work, our policy influencing work, and the work of the Alliance more broadly. Really looking forward to seeing what the remainder of the second year of support brings and working with you this year, and also looking forward to see what you achieve in this next year, building on the incredible work across the last 18 months. A reminder to all our members that the Scaling Award will be open for applications in the summer of 2022, and I'm sure that that time will pass very quickly, so we'll look forward to hearing from those interested. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch before then. We are going to introduce a short poll now. Please do fill these in before we hand over to a last plenary to close for the first day. You can see the poll up on your screen. There are a few questions, so make sure that you're scrolling down to reach the fourth question and the fifth. So yeah, please do fill those in. I can see the answers coming. Great to see those coming through. Great. Brilliant. And as I'm kind of seeing more and more of those coming through, I will hand over to Sam and Gina to wrap up for the first day. Please do complete that poll before we leave.
Great. Well, thank you so much to all of our Scaling Award winners. Thank you so much to all of our collective priority session leads, to Vanessa, to our literacy pirates, to Paul Dreschler, and to all of you for your contributions today. I can't believe it's been a whirlwind 3 hours and 50 minutes, but I have taken away so much already and really excited to see you this evening and then and then tomorrow. So we are going to get your thoughts. Thank you so much for doing the poll. I think we'll keep that open for about maybe, Daniel, 10 more seconds or so, and then we can go ahead and close that. And we're going to have you reflect on today. And the reason we're doing polls throughout and this now survey is because we want to get immediate feedback. It's really helpful for us to be able to learn and to iterate and make changes immediately so that we are having this be as much member-led as possible. So there are 3 things that we would love to get from you, and we'll put the link. It is sending you to an external link for Microsoft Forms. And it is, if you can share 1 word to describe how you're feeling after the first day. What is 1 thing that you'll do today as a result of attending the sessions? And critically, what's 1 thing you want to get out of tomorrow? So any comments, feedback, what you're looking to get out of tomorrow, it will really help us to shape and make any iterations this afternoon. So we'll give you a couple of minutes to do that now. And take your time, and then we'll be coming back together to talk about next steps, pizza dinners, and all that awaits there. So thanks so much, Daniel, for putting the link in the chat. If you, if you want to take a second and fill that out, that'd be great.
Just give us a message if you're not able to open that form for any reason. It should be in the chat from Daniel. You should be able to open it up and fill in the 3 questions. Just give us a shout if there's any technical issues with opening that.
Fantastic. We have about a quarter who have submitted so far, so take a couple more minutes. This is really important for us, so we'll give about 2 more minutes or so. Take your time.
Fab. So I think we'll keep them coming. I think we've got about 35 responses in now. So if you can keep them filling in while we wrap up, and I'll just wrap us up with some final information. So looking forward, first of all, to tonight. I can see some exciting messages in the chat about people at the Stratford dinner meeting up. So hopefully lots of you are looking forward to your pizzas this evening. You'll all be meeting at the restaurants at 6 p.m. Some of the dinners will have a staff member there. Some of them will have a board member, but some of them are just member to member. So you'll be meeting with approximately 5 to 20 of your fellow members and having some intimate conversations over pizza about your journeys today over the last year. So bring your fever curves that we discussed earlier and how we can work together to tackle education inequality. So enjoy that this evening. And then looking forward to tomorrow. We'll be kicking off at 9 a.m. again with a keynote from Dame Rachel D'Souza, the Children's Commissioner, but also interviewed by 2 young people themselves, which we're really excited for. So that'll kick us off. We've then got another spotlight on some of our Innovation and Entrepreneurship Award winners tomorrow. Then some more networking and ability to meet some of your members and get to know each other a little bit better, this time on the theme of looking forward to the next year, what we want the next year to look like, And then finally, we have our strategy session, which is us all looking forward collectively as to what we're going to do in the Fair Education Alliance in the next year and beyond, and how you guys can get involved. So we really hope we see you there. See you at the dinners tonight. Have a wonderful afternoon, and thank you so much for all participating and filling in the forms at the end. Hopefully you've all got those in now. So thank you so much. The form will continue to be open, so keep filling that in if in the next hour or so, and wishing you all a wonderful afternoon.